Confessions with Amy Gross. I confess, I don't give a fuck about my physical appearance. I bet you had no idea. Here's the thing though. You can be really ugly and fat and gross. And I'm not saying that if you're fat, you're gross, okay? If that's true, then I got a lot of gross friends. How about that? My last name is Gross, so who am I to complain about somebody else being gross, right? I'm skinny, and that's probably like the only physical feature that I have to offer, alright? Well, I was thinking about how, like, if you're a good person and you stand by what you say and you care about things, you care about other people, there will be good people out there, decent people, that will see that. And they will appreciate you, even if you're ugly. Now, I don't really think I'm like ugly, but I guess it just depends on like who's looking and what angle they're looking at me from, you know? I have real pretty eyes. You wanna see my eyes? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I know you don't wanna see them. Not now, anyway. Now's not the time for that footage. Like, back in the day when I used to wear makeup, I'm not motivated to do that anymore. But I could play it off like I was a pretty girl, you know? It's just not something that I care about because it doesn't matter. This is a really vain world, and this is where vanity has gotten us, okay? I was thinking about all these social media influencers and how just to be an influencer is somewhat sociopathic. I mean, if I'm trying to influence people to do anything, it would be talk to God, strengthen your relationship with your creator. And so it's not just talking to him, you know, it's really like being in that presence. And reading the Bible significantly helps. I'm a Christian, so I have to say that. You know, whatever you do that helps you, do that, okay? I'm not one to judge people for what they believe because I know that, like, people believe what makes sense to them. And that's wrong for me to tell you that you're wrong for believing in something that I don't understand because, you know, my experience doesn't allow me to understand it. Religion and politics prove that people don't have empathy if they can't understand, like, why people don't believe exactly as they believe. But anyway, the influencer thing. If I'm to have any influence, I hope that I can influence people to get more in touch with their spirit. But I'd also encourage you to educate yourself on mental illness. You know, since that has clearly taken over this country. And I remember thinking a long time ago, like when I was a kid, I remember thinking that it was so easy for them to control reality through our concept of what we think is right and wrong and what we think is crazy versus sane, okay? So if you fuck with that, I mean, because so many people are talking about that in relation to the freak show known as the LGBT community, okay? It doesn't really feel like much of a community. All they do is shit on each other, but it's like they get a lot of shit because of how erratic a lot of those people are, but it's like everybody just wants to feel superior to other people, you know? And like, that's why social media is really dangerous. Like, I need to talk about this on stage because I think it's noteworthy. When I was a raging alcoholic, I had several friends of mine that were definitely on the cusp of alcoholism, okay? But they didn't have to deal with that because they were my friend. So they could just stand next to me, who was virtually incapable of standing up straight, you know? They look at me, smelling of vodka and vomit and piss, alright? Why would they feel compelled to change? Why would they feel compelled to get sober if they could just compare themselves to me? I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but it's like that's exactly what people do on social media. They go, oh, you're crazy. I don't have to further examine myself because I'm just gonna examine you extra. Well, the reason why I'm able to make these claims that I make, the reason why I've assessed the world the way that I've assessed the world is because I have fully assessed myself. And anybody that doesn't know that obviously is not a fan of this channel. You want to see examples of personal growth, you can scroll down to my previous channels. Okay, I started with Aimless, Amy Gross, that is my name, okay? That's my second channel. I just suck at technology. That's why I have 3 channels. But people that have been around from the very beginning, they have seen my mind change on a lot of things. And you know, Frank, love you Frank, he pointed this out. He's like, you know, you haven't done this as a grift. You've like just grown as a person, which is really cool. I know. Grifters are classic capitalists. They just go wherever the money is. Whenever they think they can influence people, they use those narcissism skills to their advantage. And I mean, I can say this because I've seen enough of this with people I've been friends with. You know, I've mentioned that my brother is like this. He just goes along with some identity, like however he wants to think of himself at that particular time. And then he moves on to something else because that identity doesn't suit him anymore. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Everybody's transgender, they just don't know it. Like, that's the beauty of being a comedian, is that you can fucking twist everything and fully grasp, like, just how much of a hypocritical sack of shit everyone truly is. Because they don't have self-awareness. If they don't have self-awareness, they can't see how they're just another version of what they hate, or what they don't understand, or what they think is disgusting and reprehensible, you know? Look at yourself. Look at yourself. Take that same magnifying glass and apply it to yourself. They won't, but, you know, those of you that watch this channel, you're a better person, okay? That's such a narcissistic thing to say. We know.